Whoops, wait. Hello, everyone. It's Professor Hatter. Let me get some things set up here. Do I really have 6 people watching? This is insane. Alright, first time I'm doing this live stream ever. So, I'm going to try to figure out what I'm doing here first. So, welcome to Selection. I got multiple college hats going here. So yeah, thank you for the people who are watching, who are waiting. So let me figure out how to do stuff here. Yeah, I got some other guy doing live streaming of the game selection show. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Technology guy, you'd think. So I'm just trying to figure out all the yeah, I'm trying to get the comments going here for everyone, so everyone can comment who their top 4, who their 4 are. Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to get going, trying to interact with everyone, and get this show going. So yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, so bear with me. And yeah, so there's stuff happening. 8 people watching. That's pretty insane. So I'm wearing my Boise State hat right now. Got plenty more hats to wear. So I was watching most of the games yesterday. I was at work during the day, and all of a sudden I'm watching the Texas and Oklahoma game during break, and I see that Texas could pull the upset, and I really wanted it, only because of chaos. Why not? And they didn't. So the only time I rooted for Texas, they didn't go for it. I mean, Texas is one of my 5 hated teams in college football. Those 5 teams include, there's one that I really hate, but I rooted for one time. But in no particular order, really, my top 5 hated college football teams: Florida State, because they beat Northern, and Johnny B mentioning Ohio State. Yes, I hate Ohio State the most. I was swearing at them all night last night when they were being on Northwestern. So Florida State, Ohio State, Texas, USC, and Alabama are my top 5 hated teams in college football. Kind of want those programs to just disappear. When I'm president, I want to, in a way, ban those schools. Seems pretty extreme, but it's my take. Yeah, I was yelling a lot at Georgia and Northwestern for not showing up. Stop hating. Major League Hats is here. Now we have a party, everyone. Welcome. And let's see. So about 11:30, about half an hour-ish. Crap. A lot of time to waste, and I gotta help my dad out with some yard work. So I might end the stream early, so just to let you guys know, because we have a lot of branches out in the yard, and it's pickup tomorrow. And we had a nasty snow windstorm last week, and there's just like branches everywhere in the yard, so I might have to stop soonish. Hopefully not. Anyways, we'll see how it goes. So going over the other games, I got my laptop out here, so I'll be looking at that for reference points. Let me also look up to see if... Okay. Boise State did lose to Fresno State last night. They were the game I couldn't find on TV. Iowa State also won, so good for them over Drake, another Iowa rivalry. UCF had a huge comeback. Fantastic to watch. Glad to see them prove everyone wrong, even without their top quarterback Mackenzie Milton, who I didn't know was Hawaiian. Change your hat to Bulldog. I don't have a Bulldogs hat. I almost got one, but I didn't. I'm doing a live stream. Let's see what else we can have going on. So they're all just debating. Show us the show. Oh, well, I don't want to show you the show now because it's Jesse Palmer, and he kind of ruins a lot of things. I don't like Jesse Palmer. He said bad things about, I think, Northern a few years ago, and it's like, man, you're on my do not send a Christmas card to list. So UCF had their big comeback win yesterday, and that was pretty awesome to see. I was watching a bit of it at work, and they were down like 24-7. Yeah. At the end of the first quarter even. And then all of a sudden they came roaring back, and it was a pretty good comeback to witness, even without their star quarterback. Watching then the Bama-Georgia game. Georgia had a pretty nice lead going into the first half, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's not play anymore. Let's just not try. We're done for the game. And then that's when Alabama came in roaring in to take the lead and just do the Alabama thing. There were a few penalty calls I thought that should have gone against Bama for defense pass interference, but nope. It's all that money Bama makes. I'm sure they have some refs in the pocket. So right now they're at Tuscaloosa. Alabama's going to be number one, obviously, for the playoffs. Number 2 will be Clemson. Number 3 will be Notre Dame. Number 4, that's going to be the big debate now. Because yesterday, you had Oklahoma winning their conference, and they only won by 12. They had a pretty sizable win. Northwestern, the Ohio State win over Northwestern was bigger than that. 45-24. I'm not going to do the math because it's going to make me feel sad because I'm a Northwestern fan. You know. And then you have Georgia losing to Bama, but they're like, well, they lost to the number 1 team. It's like they had a good game, but you still had 2 losses. I just can't see Georgia getting in. I know the whole thing about it's about the best teams getting in, and then that and the conference wins. Who wins the conference? Who dominates? Who has the better strength of schedule? That was last year's. Either last year's issue or 2 years ago. Strength of schedule was a big issue. It's always been an issue, really. And Bama always skates by the strength of schedule. They always have a weak schedule, to be honest. And that's what they always get made fun of. And but it's not how they always get in. Seems unfair, but that's how college football works. And then you have Ohio State, who had their dominant win, like I said, to Northwestern. So you would almost think, and I've been seeing on the ESPN ticker, that Ohio State has like a 70% chance of getting into the playoff, and Oklahoma only has a 20% chance, and that's kind of bogus. Because in the regular season, I'm looking at the Notre Dame. They're at Notre Dame right now. This is the 14th undefeated or untied season in a 129-year history of Notre Dame. And yeah, okay. We'll get back to Notre Dame in a minute. But with Oklahoma and Ohio State, their losses were to, Ohio State lost to a very subpar Purdue team by a lot, and it was hilarious. My friend Corey, who went to Notre Dame, graduated last year or 2 years ago, I think last year, was just all over that, and it was just funny to see, and it warms my heart when Ohio State loses. Excuse me, it really does. See Ohio State stands in misery. But then Oklahoma's loss came to Texas, and they only lost by 3. So you would think that the body of work would stand that Oklahoma had a better season. There's been talk about the defense of Oklahoma being subpar, I guess, but I haven't been following that completely. But I remember like Ohio State being in trouble a few times. Like they had a rough game with Maryland, and they went to overtime. I think they went to double overtime even. That was an intense game, and they only lost. Well, Maryland lost only because of a missed 2-point conversion pass attempt, and otherwise they would have had it. So Ohio State just got by. So I wouldn't really qualify that as a good win for them. Right now they're in Georgia watching the show. Yeah, let's flip to the show even. You can see a bit of my basement, how ragged it is. So in Georgia, there's no official watch party for the team, and Kirby Smart was stating Uga's case until 1 a.m. on Saturday. I mean, you guys should have done better, really. It's kind of like the whole overtime deal. Wait, sorry guys. It's like, you lose in overtime. It's like, well, in like NFL, I remember there was one game where it was Seahawks versus Broncos. It was like the revenge or Super Bowl rematch game, and they're like, well, Manning didn't get a chance to have the football in overtime to win it all, so it's unfair. It's like, well, you had 60 minutes during the game to win, so why didn't he do it then? So same thing here. Georgia had plenty of opportunities earlier in the year and didn't capitalize on those opportunities to win. Unfortunately, UCF won't get in because they're just on the low end of the spectrum. They had a few rough games. I mean, they won all their games. 25 wins in a row was fantastic. But they had struggling times, and unless you're like winning by 40 at the half each game, then the committee's not going to sniff at UCF, to be honest. We got 43 people watching, 44-ish, one like. I know we got a few comments, so if anyone's got some comments about their Final Four, or we'll get into in a moment expansion possibilities, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you're thinking. Did your college football team get in? Did they have a good season? I mean, Northwestern had a pretty good season. My U of I Fighting Illini won a conference game. That was pretty cool for them. They hadn't won a conference game in like a year or so. So what else we got going on? So they're at Ohio State, and team feels they belong in college football playoff discussion. No, they don't. And just because it's Ohio State, and I hate Ohio State, and I always feel like they cheat. All right, who we got? Gator fan. What do you think about NFL style playoff in college football? That is what I've been promoting for so many times. Like the first 2 years, I didn't see the need to expand, but I think after the second or third year, a 6 team playoff would be great. That's what would be ideal for college football because you have Power 5 conferences, ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac 12, and you would have theoretically all 5 conference champions going in to the playoff game. Now, of course, like in this case, like this year, Washington is below Washington University, who won the Pac-12, is number 11 and below a few other teams who are in the top 10. So theoretically, they could get in as conference champs, but like right now, we're debating between like 6 teams. But I would say, in theory, the 5 conference champion teams get in, and then 1 wildcard team. So like right now, it'd be like maybe Michigan or UCF. Or in this case, like right now, between like Georgia, Oklahoma, and Ohio State, and maybe UCF. But the way an NFL style college football playoff would work is you have, so like, let's use the top 6 here. So you have Alabama and Clemson having a bye week. They get first round bye. Then you have Notre Dame, and we'll just go with the last standing. So Notre Dame and Georgia would host Oklahoma and Ohio State. And then the winners of those play-in games would play Bama and Clemson at the rotating bowl games. And that would be fair because it would have a little bit more than just semifinal games. And it's not completely overwhelming the players because there's always this thing about pushing the players to play too many games, and having 8-team playoff would be a lot, I think, and there would just be too many play-in games or just too many rounds. 6 is a good number. It gives a little bit more for the fans, but at the same time compromises and gives the players kind of that just one more game. It's not like we're pushing them. I mean, there's that whole argument about, paying the college student athletes. And if we get into 8 teams, I think then we would have to talk about that more, about paying the athletes to do like 3 more games, and that would be too much. So I would want a 6-team playoff system in a few years. And it's not because like last year there were 2 SEC teams in, but it's just no matter what would happen, even in this selection, 6 teams would be the best. I'm just thinking, I'm gonna change a hat. So let me look up this other college football team. I had predicted that they're gonna go undefeated. Let me look them up. They're a smaller school, but they could, I knew they would have packed a punch. And, let's see. Ooh, wow, I was totally wrong. My alma mater, Concordia Cougars, went 2-8 this year. A little, far cry from a perfect 10-0. Oh, well. Yeah, not to, you don't go to Concordia for sports. I remember there was like a tour that was happening when I was at Concordia, and like a bunch of little kids, like grade school age, and someone was like, "Oh, I want to play sports when I'm in college." I'm like, "Then don't go here, kid." Unless you want to do like maybe volleyball or baseball, because our baseball team is way better. They went to the College World Series Division III title game a few years ago, actually last year. So, anyone else got any predictions on who's going to be the Final Four? I think it's pretty much Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and then who's 4. Um, been losing a few people, kind of teetering in and out. So yeah, that's fine. At peak, I think I saw 47 or 48, which was overwhelming. But fantastic that everyone who's still here is watching. Those 2 likes and the comments so far. Let's listen to a bit of Kirk Herbstreit. I usually like Kirk Herbstreit. He's kind of like my favorite college football analysis. He's so annoying in NCAA Football 14, the video game, because it seems like he's always against your team when you're on offense. But he's pushing for Georgia to be number 4, and I don't see that happening. I see his logic, but I don't see it happening. Oh, the twins, Chris Fowler and Reese Davis. Wait. Kind of twins looking, right? I would think so.
Sometimes different criteria are applied when it's convenient. If you want to punch holes in Oklahoma's and their defense, you can easily do that. Same thing for Ohio State. If you think Georgia would beat them head-to-head, that's fine. But then you don't want to use that argument when you apply it to Notre Dame, because people believe that 12-0 Irish team are a lot to go in, and yet, as you pointed out, head-to-head on a neutral field, would they really pick Notre Dame to beat Georgia or Ohio State or Oklahoma? You can't go by who Vegas would pick to win, in my opinion. I guess I have to punch holes in Georgia's resume. If I think Oklahoma belongs in, and I do, the results have to matter, and they have to matter a lot. And I know their schedule is tough, but if the best thing you can say about Georgia is that they played Alabama really, really tough, that's not enough for me. They went to Baton Rouge.
Agreed.
Place to win, of course. Turned the ball over 4 times, got outgained by a lot, and lost by 20. Alabama went in there 129-0. I know Georgia's got elite talent.
Yeah, as Chris was saying, if the only thing that Georgia can say is that they played well, excuse me, against Bama. I mean, Bama's good, but there's got to be more dominance in their resume.
They almost outscored Georgia last year, didn't get the job done, but
of course, I'm the professor, so anyone got any questions, any comments for the class? Anyone want to start up the Blackboard discussion? Anyone want to come to the front of the class? Be daring and say Washington makes it into the Final Four. Oh, who we got? Do you think the Notre Dame deserves to be in? Oh, Paul Feinbaum's on. He's another college guru. Let me get to the Notre Dame comment in a moment.
Political aspects of it, this committee, or someone on this committee will get to. I had never thought about Georgia getting into the playoffs with a loss to Alabama until I talked to Kirk Herbstreit on Monday night. And he opened my eyes to it, and he has convinced me, and I think a few others, probably not the committee, that Georgia is not so much the forget that word, but they are among the best teams. And frankly, I respect what Chris said. Georgia has the loss, but come on. We're looking for the best 4 schools in America. Georgia is one of those. We lost because they lost to the best team. Well, who else would have lost to Alabama last night? I think pretty much everyone else, perhaps.
Yep.
Not Clemson, but I think Alabama would have beaten them too. So that's where I land. I think if the committee does put Georgia in, it will open Pandora's box, which I think college football is not ready for. They don't want to have all these conference champions get left out. So in a couple of minutes.
To a porta-pot, of course. You're welcome for getting the stream going. I mean, I'll get to my ugly face in a moment here. Talk a bit about the previous question, but... Whoop, hold on.
You want to see some people get hungry? I mean hungry fast. You let Georgia pop up on number 4, and there will be university presidents and conference commissioners and ADs who are hungry to expand this thing sooner rather than later because they will perceive that the SEC is getting an unfair advantage. Heather Dinich covers the college football playoff and the selection process as well as anyone. She's been following this down in Grapevine, Texas. Heather, we don't have the rankings yet. What's the last day? What's this morning been like for the committee?
Well, I've heard that they met until about 1:30 a.m. Central, and I was told by somebody in the room that they felt really good about where they left with
Well,
their
hold
votes in
on.
their top 25 this morning, but that there was still a lot to
Okay.
be discussed. They came back around.
So let me get into Michigan State now. I got a few college hats. Um, so the question about Notre Dame. I remember there were two times before in the college football playoff era. It's only been a few years, but where Notre Dame was on the brink of making it in, and people were questioning, "Oh, did you notice Notre Dame's undefeated? You know, they don't have a conference. They don't have conference games to play or a championship. So what if they, get in? Uh, so what do we do about them if they go undefeated?" And then eventually they had one loss, and then they were automatically out of the playoff question. So now that question when you kick the can down the road, we finally meet the wall and finally have to deal with a can that Notre Dame is undefeated. Um, I think they do belong in. They are a dominant team. Let me hold on. Let me get to my research here. Cause I was looking for them on the schedule yesterday, but they didn't play yesterday because they didn't have a conference game to play. So I think I would say that they're notable wins. Just looking at a glance here, Michigan, considering that Michigan was ranked 14th at the time, it was a big top 15 matchup. Stanford was also a big game. Stanford was ranked 7th. Hey, we got to 50 plus views. Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Virginia Tech, they were 24 at the time. Virginia Tech is always a pretty good team to face. Pitt was okay. Syracuse was a dominant game. That's when Syracuse was trying to make a run. Be like, hey, surprise, guys, we're here. We're going to make a stink in the ACC. And then Notre Dame's like, nope, you're done. And then theoretically, USC should have been a good game, but at the time they were like 5-6, and now they're 5-7. So happy to see USC losing, having a bad year. It'd be better if they went like 0-12, but we can all dream, right? So yeah, the Notre Dame team definitely belongs in the conversation. Just looking at some of their team stats here. I'm a huge numbers guy with like the little stats. So let me look at a few total offense. See, like they're like the little things for offenses and defenses that I think matter more. It's not like how many yards you give up or how many yards you gain. It's more about like what you do per play. So let me quickly look up per game. Okay, I don't want per game. I'm more looking for like yards per, like yard averages per throw per rush that the offense gives and allows, or that the offense gives and the defense allows, because that really determines how efficient you are. Like, yeah, you could have a shutout, but if you're allowing your opponent to have like an average of 6 rushing yards per run per attempt, then that's not really dominant, to be honest. And like rushing is a big thing for me. When I was playing myself in NCAA football 14, I was a star running back for Illinois, and yards per carry was one of the biggest stats. That and really carries, pun intended. Because it also shows, like after your first run, how many more yards do you have until the first down? So I think I'm not finding it here. I mean, they have yards per game, which is okay, but I'm more looking at like per play. So I'm not gonna find that here. All right.
You believe the teams are being unequivocally
Look at this.
better than the teams are being compared against conference championships, strength of schedule,
Okay.
head-to-head,
Sorry.
outcomes of common opponents without incenting margin of victory.
Criteria to use to rank teams.
Relevant factors with
Murray or Tagovailoa.
exercise some subjectivity.
And you're talking about Kyler Murray, right?
And got the answer. We're going to be on TV for the next hour. No commercial break.
I would go with probably. I don't usually focus on the individuals, to be honest. I mean, I've heard more about Murray, so I'm just gonna go with Murray off of what I've been hearing. Well. All right, here we go, guys.
Presented by AT&T. The number one team is
Right.
Alabama. 5 years
Number 4, I have Oklahoma. Heisman, Murray. Kyler Murray. I got for Heisman.
I imagine we're going to see the Clemson party. At number 2, party decided. All right. How many of those pizzas is Dexter Lawrence eating?
Anyone else excited? Anyone else nervous?
Tigers make their 4th straight college football playoff appearance. They won the national championship 2016, and there's Clemson at the pizza party. That is a much more subdued reaction than we got at the
Hell yeah, we got number 2. Oh, big whoop. Come on, Clemson. Be excited.
And by the way, that has not been determined yet. We don't have the answer.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Notre Dame fan. They're coming in at number 3. But I was at a lid store recently, and for some reason, there's a adjustable New Era Notre Dame hat that just called out to me. I'm like, I kind of want to get it, but I don't know. Number 4. Just kidding. These guys are D3, so it doesn't matter.
Notre Dame and Clemson. Notre Dame and Clemson being a great one. Last time they played in the rain, it was a great game. Went down to the wire in Death Valley.
Yeah, it was. Notre Dame pushed them.
Oklahoma.
It will be on December 29th.
If it's Ohio State, I'm gonna try not flip anything. Ooh, wow, the suspense, guys.
Let's look at comparison. Some of the numbers. I told you, there's the eye test. There's some subjectivity involved here.
Son of a... They're just really dragging this one out, right? Who else is sweating bullets here?
They also have the edge in strength of schedule, but in strength of record, meaning how you fared against your schedule.
So, as you can see, notable resumes of the teams Georgia, Oklahoma, and the trash state. Oh, I'm sorry, it says Ohio. Yeah, Ohio, trash, same thing, right? Oklahoma or Ohio State? Oklahoma, not just because I hate Ohio State. It's just that Oklahoma had a better loss this year. So, definitely Oklahoma.
Who should it be? Georgia? I think it'll be Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I think it'll be Oklahoma. It should be Georgia.
Sorry.
I imagine it's going to be Oklahoma. Yes, yeah.
Let's have
I'll turn it up.
Right now, the number 14 play Alabama in the national semifinal. In one of the games on December 20th.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Champion Oklahoma Sooners.
Yes!
See, this is a very familiar look. 3 of these teams made the playoff last year. Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. There have been 20 playoff berths in the playoff era. 12 of them belong to those 3 teams, and I'm just told that this is what Alabama preferred. They didn't mind playing Oklahoma. Preferred not to play them in a virtual home game in Dallas, so that will be the Orange Bowl game. Tua Tagovailoa, who's supposed to be healthy. Kyler Murray, top 2 guys. Jalen Hurts.
I got someone calling BS.
Oklahoma gets that 4th spot.
Yeah, I think
What's so BS, my friend?
we will get a chance to see Kyler Murray in this outstanding offense play against an Alabama team. Can Nick Saban shut down this offense and nobody else?
I'm going to see Kyler Murray against Fenty. I got to believe it's 5.
Anyone excited? Anyone questioning? Anyone pissed? Anyone... Ooh! Ooh! Wow!
That to me is that's crazy because
Wow! Wow! That one is actually surprising.
It was a Georgia Oklahoma.
That's surprising.
It was close to putting in a 2-loss team over a 1-loss conference champion, which means the committee
seriously,
Notre Dame is going to get curb stomped.
To me, it's very surprising because you're right. It just feels like throughout this show, the debate really has been: is it Georgia? Is it Oklahoma? Just 2 weeks ago, Ohio State put up 62 points against the then number 4 team in the country in Michigan, a team that had won 10 in a row, that had looked dominant in their revenge tour against Wisconsin, Michigan State, pounded Penn State. That was a team that the committee really
How is
respected.
Georgia better than Ohio State? That one I'm actually surprised about.
But that was a big time statement for them. I just think it was too much, too late. They were number 10 in the country 2 weeks ago. Oklahoma and Georgia have been 5, 6, 4, and 5 respectively. It was just too much ground for Ohio State.
I think the separation was set up though, just in what we saw Tuesday, with Oklahoma being number 5 and Ohio State being number 6. And Oklahoma going on to play number 14 Texas, while Ohio State is playing number 21 in Northwestern. So everything to that point, the Michigan win, the Penn State win, the TCU win, was all calculated on Tuesday and put into the ingredients were Oklahoma's a better team. So then the only last point that to be added was a better win by Oklahoma. Georgia sort of jumped in between that, but I don't see there was a path for Ohio State to jump Oklahoma with adding Texas and Ohio State adding Northwestern.
It'll be interesting to see when we talk to Rob Mullins. We're going to be on for about the next hour without commercial interruption, and we'll ask Rob these questions. Remember, this is a little bit different than what we all grew up with 60 some odd people voting in polls. You only have 13 people. It doesn't take that many people to sway the vote or change minds. So there might not have been this big separation, and they don't necessarily just go one versus one.
Bama versus Clemson again. Honestly, that's going to be boring as Cleveland versus Warriors Part 3.
You're not just saying, are you taking them or them? Know that.
I also think a couple weeks ago, if we go back a couple weeks before the Michigan game.
All right, we'll watch this a bit more, and then I'll give some commentary.
Ohio State. And I thought it said a lot about the committee's thoughts about what they thought about Ohio State's inconsistencies. Yes, they were winning, but they had that blowout loss that the committee obviously looks at. They're going to frown upon. It's a bad loss to a decent team. And then you also had played inconsistent. When you see, I think you kind of knew right there that Ohio State, the committee, the way they thought about Ohio State.
Sean, you are just about right.
Well behind those other teams that were in front. I guess I'm still.
All right, we'll wait. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Also, I was surprised that DePaul isn't being ranked at all. Joke, DePaul doesn't have a football team. Anyways, they're a Catholic school in Chicago. So, reading through some of the comments here, why is Ohio State below Georgia? That one I'm really surprised with. But not angry about. Am I right? Ohio State destroys Notre Dame. That one would be a close game, I would say. I mean, yes, I hate to admit it, Haskins is a really good player. I would have him and Murray duke it out for the Heisman. And I would pick maybe Murray over Haskins. I mean, I've been watching Haskins more only because Haskins is within conference of the Big Ten. And he's been doing decent, I guess. Yeah, as mentioned earlier about conference champs not mattering. Well, I remember, I think it was 2015. Let me quickly look it up. Yeah, I think it was 2016-17 season that Ohio State got in to the playoffs despite Penn State winning the conference championship. You need to check stats before you comment. Okay. I mean, I've been a casual fan this year. I don't pay attention to all the stats. Usually I just been watching the games here and there. Been getting busy with work. I've been working Saturdays, so I haven't been paying attention to all the stats. So I'm sure there's a few chances I'm wrong. What else is there to talk about? I'm going to be ending in about 3 or 4 minutes just to let you guys know. Let's see what they're talking about.
USC was presenting an issue for Notre Dame. Great coaching by Brian Kelly, what he did, the adjustments they made offensively in the second half.
I'm going to look up a few stats in a moment.
Athleticism was presenting a problem for Notre Dame. The same problem that Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Georgia would present for Notre Dame. And that's why I say, if we're just talking best teams, Notre Dame has to be in that discussion.
I think one of the big reasons Oklahoma gets in, I think one thing the committee's showing us too, Oklahoma's beaten everybody on their schedule now. And getting that rematch against Texas, who they lost to by 3 points early in the year, getting a chance to get them back, they can now say, we've beaten everybody that we played this year, just like Alabama did, just like Clemson did, and just like Notre Dame did, which is, I think, the biggest reason why Notre Dame...
With that being said, then remember this moving forward, they struggled against Army, they struggled against Kansas, they struggled against Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, but they won. So
Yes.
maybe for this committee, it doesn't matter when you play inferior teams and win. You find a way to win 60 to 55 as long as you win.
I think you could ask any coach in college football, and we all know this, they tell you how hard it is to get a win.
Absolutely.
Every single Saturday with 18 to 20
No matter who you're
year-olds,
playing.
it's very different.
For y'all with Notre Dame, real quick, like I understand what you're saying about Notre Dame, and I think Notre Dame they lack the elite upper echelon playmakers or players. But I'll say this: when you start to poke holes, there's not holes to poke at. You go to Oklahoma, you got severe holes to poke at. So I think when you look at Clemson, Alabama, and Notre Dame, I think there's less holes to poke arguments. They're solid everywhere across the board. That's what I think. When you start discussing, I think it needs to be brought up about Notre Dame that they've been consistent, they've won all their games, and there isn't a glaring weakness in their game that you look at and say that they're
They belong
really
on the
deficient.
court really bad.
If you're just going to go on what's happened during the season, this would be a great year for the BCS.
2 teams.
Two teams.
Yeah.
There are two teams who separate.
Yeah.
You know, and
The Roy bus?
Yeah.
The Roy
Yeah.
bus.
Yeah, the rest of y'all. Yeah, that's right. There's Alabama, Clemson, the rest of y'all.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that they can't lose. For Oklahoma, with that offense, you're capable of beating anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
With that defense, they've shown they're capable of losing.
That is true.
I said Alabama playing
There were-
60 to 50 games.
There were two times
Well, there'll be some
before.
Yeah, it's gonna be
There were
fun.
2 times before when we got to this point where I kind of looked at the 4 teams that got in and kind of thought one of the teams really had no shot. In 2015, Michigan State, I didn't think they had a shot against Bama. And the next year, Washington against Bama, I didn't think they have a shot. I think with these 4 teams,
Oops.
I think they could all win their semifinal matchup. I do, including Oklahoma because of Kyler Murray and that historic offense.
You know, Oklahoma's only the second team in the playoff era not to finish in the top 4 of.
Okay, so looking at here, if you didn't see, it'll be Bama, Oklahoma, Orange Bowl, and Clemson, Notre Dame, Cotton Bowl. I recommend all teams go independent. Interesting. So I'm going to end the video now. Been going on for a little while. So, of course, thank you for everyone watching. I am Professor Hatter. Check out the channel. I talk a lot about hats. Among my many hats I have about 70 something now, and I'm getting more hats. So check out the rest of the channel. I'll be doing more hat videos coming up, talking about some sports, talking about history stuff that I've been doing. So yeah, leave any more comments about the playoffs. Gonna go outside, help with the yard work, because I'm sure I'm gonna get yelled at about it. So of course, thank you for everyone watching. If your team didn't get in, then just be like the Cubs. There's always next year. All right. Thank you for watching. This has been my first live stream of the Professor Hatter channel. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'm going to dismiss class and see you all next time. Hats off to you for watching. Bye, everyone.